The chosen one, something sacred has been decided about you, long before you even knew you needed it. For a while now, you've been walking through spiritual terrain alone. You've battled silently, held your breath in crowds, and kept your hands open toward heaven, waiting for something more than signs, more than strength, waiting for someone. That wait is nearly over, because God has whispered a name. Before we go deeper into this divine message, stop and take these 3 steps. 1. Like this video to signal heaven that you're ready for divine companionship. 2. Comment the number 2 for 2 by 2, the way God sent them out, and the way He will now send you forward. 3. Subscribe to this channel to walk among the 144,000 chosen ones. And only the chosen one will stay until the very end of this message, because only they will recognize the moment their spirit was matched in heaven before time began. This is not about finding a soulmate in the romantic sense, though love may come. This is about alignment, about movement, about God sending someone into your life who is anointed not just to stand beside you, but to activate what's been dormant within you. A spiritual ally, a divine counterpart. The one who was not permitted to arrive until you were purified by pain and positioned by purpose. This person has already been spoken to. You are not the only one receiving preparation. The silence you've been living in, the kind that felt like abandonment, was in fact a consecrated space where God whispered instructions into their spirit too. While you were breaking, they were being built. While you were surrendering, they were learning how to lift. They may not arrive with fireworks or long conversations. You might not even recognize them at first glance. But your spirit will. Your soul will stand still for a second longer than usual. Your guard will lower without effort. Something in you will remember them, even if your mind doesn't yet. This isn't a friendship based on mutual trauma. It's not built on human need. This is an assignment from above. A soul aligned to walk with you from now until the end of the year. Not just to ease your path, but to accelerate your purpose. They will help you carry what once crushed you. They will speak the same spiritual language you thought only you could hear. And they will not come to complete you. They will come to confirm you. God does not send this person while you're still asking for everyone to stay. He waits until you're strong enough to walk away from misaligned alliances. That is why you had to endure the recent disconnections, the quiet exits, the unanswered calls, the sudden distance. You thought they left you, but in truth, God pulled you out early so He could make room for who is coming now. There is a rhythm between you and this person that you won't need to force. You won't need to perform for their loyalty or explain your silence. They will already be fluent in what your soul has been trying to articulate, and where others saw your wilderness, they will recognize your anointing. You have asked for signs, and this is one. Not of arrival, but of nearness. They are closer than you think. Some of you will meet them in a quiet place, a prayer circle, a retreat, an unexpected online message. Others will feel their presence before their body even enters the room, because their energy will make room for yours. You will not compete. You will not confuse each other. You will not have to question their intention. But don't look for them in your old circles. They won't come through past patterns. God will not recycle someone you've already outgrown. This is new, and your ability to recognize newness will determine your readiness. You will know them not by charisma, but by their covering. You will feel safe, you will feel seen, but most of all, you will feel sent. This is not an emotional high. This is a spiritual handoff, from isolation to alliance, from confusion to clarity, from solo mission to sacred movement. And it begins when you stop doubting whether you're worthy of help. Stay with me, because in part 2, we will go deeper. How to spiritually recognize the one sent for you, and how to avoid rejecting them because they don't look like your old idea of support. The chosen one, you were not created to carry your divine calling alone. And yet many times you've worn isolation like a mantle, as if solitude was the price of spiritual sensitivity. But this next phase will require more than strength. It will require synergy. And that's why God is sending someone who can hold what you hold without dropping it, without doubting it, and without draining you. This person may not arrive looking the way you expected. God often hides His greatest gifts in humble vessels. They may not have a large platform. They may not speak in grand prophetic language, But when they open their mouth, something in you will settle. Not because of what they say, but because of what they don't have to explain. They carry a weight similar to yours, a sense of mission, a burden for truth, a longing for heaven that disrupts the comforts of this world. They've been through fires of their own, not to break them, but to refine their discernment for exactly this moment in time. You won't need to convince them of spiritual warfare. They've lived it. You won't need to teach them how to pray through silence. They've wept through it. And now, their presence will help release something in you that's been locked behind grief, fear, or fatigue. The mistake many chosen ones make is assuming God only works through solo sanctification. But God's strategy has always involved divine partnership. Moses had Aaron, Ruth had Naomi, Paul had Timothy. Even Jesus sent his disciples out 2 by 2. Why? Because when you carry fire from heaven, you need someone who can hold the oil. This is not about romance, it is about restoration. Restoration of balance, restoration of voice, restoration of spiritual rhythm. This person will remind you who you were before you were wounded. They will speak to the part of you that you buried beneath responsibility and rejection. And somehow, without even trying, they will pull resurrection out of you. But here is the key. Your recognition must be spiritual before it is logical. If you try to assess them by surface standards, looks, status, background, you might miss them entirely. They are not coming to impress. They are coming to ignite. Their timing may seem random, but heaven never sends help on accident. If they show up during a moment of transition, trust that their arrival is part of the turning point. If they reach out during a season of doubt, listen deeper. God often speaks through connection before he speaks through confirmation. You won't always feel ready. In fact, you might question whether you're healed enough to receive this kind of presence. But it's not your perfection that opens the door. It's your positioning. You are finally aligned with the rhythm of heaven. You've been emptied of ego, cleansed by disappointment, and steadied by silence. That is why now is the appointed time. When they come, do not look for a sign in the sky. Look for peace. Look for the softening of your resistance. Look for the moment when your spirit exhales, not from relief, but from remembrance. Something ancient in you will say, I've waited for this. There will be no rush, no pressure, no manipulation. This connection will move with the grace of God's own pace. And if you let it, it will restore your trust in alignment. Do not tell everyone when they arrive. Some connections are too sacred for public scrutiny. Guard the seed until it becomes fruit. Let God water what he's revealed. Before you post about it, pray over it. You don't need to force their place in your life. If they're sent, they will fit. Not without friction, but without fracture. This is your sign that help is not only on the way, it is already being prepared. Stay anchored. Keep discerning. And above all, remain open. Because some of the help God sends doesn't look like help. It looks like healing. And in part 3, we will uncover exactly how this divine ally will begin to shift your path and what you must release now in order to make room for who is coming. The chosen one. Every soul sent from heaven into your life comes with a purpose. Never as decoration, always as divine intervention. The person coming toward you is not arriving to admire your anointing. They are coming to activate it. Their presence will not flatter your ego. It will challenge your silence. It will disturb your hiding. And it will call you forward in ways that comfort never could. You have been walking with a vision, but with no one to help you carry it. You have been speaking in a language most people cannot translate. You have prayed, fasted, surrendered, and yet felt like heaven was still holding back something or someone. But now the delay is ending. God did not forget. He was just preparing a space that would not collapse under the weight of destiny. This spiritual ally will not compete with your gift. They will protect it. They will not dilute your purpose. They will refine it. They will not speak over your voice. They will make room for it. And the confirmation of their assignment in your life will not be how they enter, but how they stay. Pay attention to what happens when they speak. Your vision will sharpen. Your fear will quiet. Your sense of timing will align. They will say things that sound like echoes of your prayers. They may not even know why they're saying it, but you will know. This is not someone you've been asking for by name. This is someone God has kept nameless until now, for your protection. If they had come too early, you would have made them an idol. If they had come too late, your heart would have hardened. But now, your discernment is strong enough to see them not as a rescue, but as a reinforcement. The enemy will try to plant doubt at the doorway of this connection. Don't let your old trauma interpret their new intention. Don't let fear label what heaven has authorized. Test the spirit, but don't overanalyze the form. This person was not sent to save you. They were sent to stand beside you while you rise. They may arrive quietly, but their effect will be loud, not in chaos, but in clarity. Suddenly, your scattered ideas will begin to align. Your inconsistent energy will stabilize. Your delayed obedience will move faster. Why? Because agreement in the spirit always accelerates movement in the natural. They will not complete your mission, but they will protect your momentum. They will not remove your enemies, but they will remind you how to fight without losing your joy. And you will know, deep in your soul, that this is not another person to carry. This is someone to walk with. God is pairing you with someone who has been privately prepared to understand your public purpose. You won't need to rehearse your story. They will already know how to hold the unspoken parts. You won't have to minimize your faith. They will increase it. You won't need to apologize for your calling. They will celebrate it without fear. You've walked alone long enough, not because you were unloved, but because your alignment required it. Now, your path is shifting. Heaven has issued a release. What you need to do now is simple. Make space, clear distractions, release expired attachments, and trust the silence before the arrival. This person was promised, not to your feelings, but to your future. And they are coming. Walk in expectation, not desperation. Live like the answer is on its way, because it is. And when they arrive, you will recognize them, not with your eyes, but with your spirit, because what is born of God is always familiar to the one he chooses. The chosen one. What is coming toward you is not just a person. It is a mirror of your obedience, a reflection of all the silent yeses you've spoken in secret, a reward for the prayers you whispered through tears when no one else was watching. This spiritual companion has been shaped in the same furnace, refined by the same fire, and aligned by the invisible hand that guided you. This isn't about who they are on the outside. It's about who you become in their presence. When they arrive, you will find yourself breathing deeper, smiling without reason, believing again in things you had quietly buried. They won't rescue you. They won't fix you. But they will remind you that you were never crazy for holding on to something greater than logic. They will understand your pauses. They will not rush your process. They will not be intimidated by your strength or embarrassed by your vulnerability. When you tell them what God showed you, they won't laugh. They will lean in. This connection is more than alignment. It is multiplication. You've carried a certain measure of grace on your own, but together, your gifts will unlock doors neither of you could open alone. Heaven honors unity, not codependency, not convenience, but covenant. And that is what this is, covenant, spiritual, sacred, sovereign. There is an atmosphere around them that sharpens your hearing. You will find yourself dreaming clearer, praying deeper, worshiping more freely. Not because of them, but because of what they awaken inside you. They may be younger than you, or older. They may come from a different culture, speak a different dialect, or walk a path you never imagined. But the spirit in them will match the call on you. Their differences will not divide. They will strengthen the whole. But beware, not everyone will celebrate this divine partnership. Some will feel threatened. Others will try to mimic it. Guard what God gives. Protect what is still becoming. This isn't for public validation. This is for kingdom manifestation. Their presence will clarify your purpose. Suddenly, what was vague will become urgent. What felt out of reach will begin to stir again. And you'll notice how God was preparing you all along, not just to meet them, but to recognize them. There may be moments of friction. That is expected, but it won't feel destructive. It will feel like iron sharpening iron, because heaven never sends someone who only agrees with you. He sends someone who strengthens you. Let go of the fear that you will mess this up. What God ordains, he sustains. Your only job is to remain open, obedient, and discerning. Don't chase. Don't force. But when you sense that peace, don't run either. You've walked too long in waiting. Now comes the walking in witness. This year will not end the way it began, because by the time it closes, you will not be alone. You will not be confused. You will not be in hiding. You will be aligned. You will be seen. You will be walking beside the one who was sent, not to save you, but to help carry the fire God placed in you. And when you look back on this moment, you'll say, that was the shift. That was the sign. That was when I stopped walking alone. The chosen one, you've been trained for this next season by being misunderstood in the last one. And now heaven is responding, not with relief, but with reinforcement. The person coming into your life is not a coincidence. They are a response to your growth, your endurance, your yes. This companion won't need to be convinced of your calling. They won't ask for credentials or proof. They will see you the way God sees you, not as you appear, but as you are becoming. Their presence won't just make sense, it will make direction. You'll start seeing next steps more clearly. You'll stop second-guessing what's already been confirmed in your spirit. What you'll realize quickly is this: they carry their own oil. They are not arriving to borrow your light. They're bringing their own. You've poured into many. This one will pour back, and in the exchange, the burden will lift. They've also been tested. Don't mistake their peace for passivity. They've fought in private, cried in secret, and wrestled through assignments they never asked for. But like you, they've remained. Not perfect, but faithful. Together, you won't just walk side by side, you'll multiply impact. Where your voice once trembled, theirs will steady. Where their faith begins to waver, yours will speak life. And where once you faced darkness alone, now you will face it as a team ordained by light. But know this: divine alliances are always tested early. The enemy knows what two aligned souls can do. He will try to introduce confusion, distraction, and delay. Do not be surprised if circumstances challenge your trust. Do not retreat into old patterns of isolation. This time, choose to lean in. You were never meant to be the strong one all the time. You were meant to be covered too. This person will pray for you before you ask. They will speak life over you when you're quiet. They will remind you that you're not crazy, not alone, not forgotten. And you will know, beyond logic or proof, that they were sent. Their arrival is not about timing. It's about your posture. You're finally bowed low enough for God to lift you through another. That's not weakness. That's kingdom order. Let this connection soften the places that hardened in survival. Let it reintroduce hope in places grief had closed. Let it teach you how to walk again, not just for yourself, but with someone beside you who knows where heaven is leading. And when you look at them, you'll see more than a person. You'll see evidence that God heard your silent prayer. Send someone who gets it. And God's answer is now walking your way. The chosen one, there are divine assignments too heavy for one set of shoulders. That's why God never designed you to walk this path alone. For a season, yes, so your voice could be purified, so your discernment could be sharpened, so your dependency would shift from people to presence. But now, the season is changing, and with it, your company. What you're stepping into requires witness. Not audience, but witness. Someone who sees what God is doing in you and won't shrink. Someone who won't silence your fire, but fan it. Someone who doesn't compete with your light, but protects it. Their spirit is tuned to the same frequency as yours, not by personality, but by prayer. Don't be surprised if they show up in a moment of quiet transition. God often sends reinforcements when you've just let go of something familiar. That's how he makes space. What felt like loss was just pruning. Now, the new thing is coming into view. This companion will carry a different rhythm. You won't have to explain your boundaries, your spiritual language, your sensitivity to time. They'll get it. Not because they studied you, but because they've been through their own secret training with heaven. They recognize the weight on you because they've felt it too. Where others asked for your gift without your heart, this one will honor both. Where others took from your spirit, this one will pour in. Where others dismissed your tears, this one will intercede. And in their presence, your soul will feel safe enough to dream again, this time without fear of interruption. But be careful. The old version of you might try to sabotage the new connection, not intentionally, but reflexively. You've been alone so long, your body might not remember what trust feels like. Your heart may flinch at kindness. You might question why someone would stay without needing something in return. That's why discernment must go deeper than instinct. It must be rooted in spirit. You must listen not just for compatibility, but for confirmation. God will show you signs, not flashy ones, but consistent ones. Moments where peace interrupts panic. Conversations that open doors you didn't know were still closed. Silences that feel full instead of empty. You'll feel the alignment before you fully understand it. That's how spirit moves. You don't need to rush this. Divine partnerships unfold, not explode. They grow at the speed of obedience, not urgency. And the person sent to walk with you will understand that. They're not here to be impressed. They're here to help you carry the promise. There will be quiet mornings, shared prayers, aligned visions, and above all, a shared reverence for what God is doing. You won't need to convince them to stay close to God. They'll already be anchored. You won't need to shrink your calling. They'll already have room for it. And when it gets hard, and it will, they won't leave. Because heaven doesn't send temporary help for permanent purpose. They are not your reward. They are your reminder that God provides when you release. That support can be sacred. That companionship can be holy. So if it feels different, let it be. If it feels new, thank God. If it feels unfamiliar, don't run. Because maybe unfamiliar is what answered prayer looks like. This is not just someone to walk beside you. This is someone sent to walk with you into what God wrote before either of you were born. The chosen one this year will not close the way it opened. And it's not because you changed your habits or shifted your mindset. It's because God has changed the people around you. He is sending someone into your life, not to echo your past, but to announce your future. Someone who doesn't pull you backward into patterns, but forward into promise. This person won't be loud, but they'll be precise. You'll feel a clarity in their presence that calms your spirit without words. They'll carry a weight that's familiar, not heavy, but holy. And in that weight, you'll sense a divine permission to be your full self, not the version you've had to perform, not the version others tolerated, but the version God designed. For too long, you've survived by hiding your depth. You've learned how to show just enough to stay protected, but not enough to be truly seen. That's over now. Because what's coming is someone who can handle the deep. They won't drown in your intensity. They've been prepared for it. And when they speak, your defenses will finally rest. You'll find yourself speaking about heaven like it's home. Time will feel different around them. Conversations will run longer, silences will stretch without tension, and somehow you'll leave every moment feeling more filled than before. This person will not fix everything, but they will confirm everything. Every dream that felt too big, every vision you tucked away, every prayer you whispered then buried in disappointment. They will not be your finish line, but they will be your signpost. You'll know them by fruit, not flash, not fantasy, but fruit. They walk in peace, they carry honor, they are generous with silence and slow to speak. But when they do speak, something moves in the room. Because God trusted them with stillness, and now He's trusting them with you. Don't question why they're arriving now. Don't second guess if you're ready. The answer isn't found in how you feel. The answer is found in who God is. And He says, it is time. Let go of your need to control the pace. Let go of your fear of loss. Let go of the story that says no one ever stays. This is not that. This is sacred. And sacred things require sacred space. So open your hands, open your heart, open your calendar. Because from now until the end of this year, your path will shift. And it will not be because of a breakthrough. It will be because of who walks with you through it. They are coming. Not because you begged, but because God promised. And He never forgets what He whispered in your wilderness.